Hey, welcome to my channel. I'm Marion McRae, physiotherapist, back pain specialist, and founder of the Bulletproof Backs program. If you're here, it's because you're ready to take charge of your back pain and discover a holistic path to healing, one that combines mindset, movement, emotional fitness, and lifestyle strategy. Welcome to Ask the Back Pain Coach, where I answer your questions about back pain straight from the heart and by years of experience. Before we dive in, I just want to make a quick note. The information I share here reflects my own personal opinions and experience as a physio and many other qualified applications which I have listed on my website. It's meant for educational purposes only, and it isn't a substitute for advice from your own healthcare team. I encourage you to consult your doctor or therapist to tailor these ideas to your unique situation. I'm simply trying to offer an alternate perspective. With that being said, let's get started on building your bulletproof back. Today's question is from James from London. Just let me pull it up here. Hi, my name is James and I'm from London. I've been struggling with back pain since 2019 after a skiing accident. Ouch. The doctors said I have a herniated disc and I've tried everything. Physiotherapy, painkillers, even a standing desk at work, but nothing seems to work. My job in finance keeps me at my desk for 12 hours a day. Ouch. And I've started drinking more in the evenings to cope. Totally get it. And you're not alone, James. A colleague recommended your YouTube channel after sharing one of your podcast episodes. Oh, that's great. People watch. I'm so happy. And I've been watching ever since. Oh, James, that's lovely. Thank you. I'm desperate for a solution that fits into my busy lifestyle. Yeah, I can imagine. So 2019, that's a fair length of time. And you don't actually mention how old you are, James. So there's a few things that come up just from that little intro about you. And it is really hard to really know specific advice for someone without knowing you and how you think and what your beliefs are and what your financial situation is, relationship situation is. However, generally, the things that strike me initially is the things I wish to comment on from this question is a skiing accident way of achieving back pain tells me quite a few things. One, you were probably really fit and healthy, and then all of a sudden, you're not, you're in pain. And that's a huge leap for any fit, active, healthy person to go from athletic to injured. And it always means there's usually a real serious initial struggle. It's valid. And, there's sometimes a grief in the loss of all the things that you were able to do and you are now unable to do. So it takes time to accept that at the moment you're not who you used to be. So I actually usually encourage people to grieve. Even it's not forever, but there needs to be an acknowledgement that what you're going through is hard and it's a big shift in your whole identity of who you are, who you used to be. And with that comes a lot of grief, which, if not acknowledged, can be one of the reasons you fail to heal. Those suppressed emotions of grief are heavy and they need to be given ways to move through the body as part of the healing process. Herniated disc, the doctors say. So just on that, if you have a diagnosis of a herniated disc and it's been 2019, my maths is terrible, but maybe what's that, 7 years? If you haven't already sought an opinion from a neurologist about whether you are a potential surgical case, then I would. I think information is power. You may not choose to go down the surgery path, but depending on the intensity of your symptoms, it would be something that after 6 years of pain, I would certainly explore and get some information on. Am I surgical? If I am a surgical candidate, what does that look like? What surgical procedures does a neurologist feel or an orthopedic surgeon? What do they feel I may have some success with? And just bank that knowledge for now. It's something that you then have up your sleeve as information, and information is power. You say you've tried everything. You name physiotherapy, painkillers, and even a standing desk. So when people say they've tried everything, and I normally pin them to, well, actually, let's list how many things you have tried, they usually struggle to come up with more than 8 things. And in the world of things that can potentially improve your back pain, 8 is not many. I actually think currently, and there's more coming to the table every day, I can think of over at least 100 avenues to healing for back pain that work for different people. So you haven't tried everything. You may think you have, but there's 100 other things out there you are still yet to try, including some of the bulletproof backs methodologies, which are not mainstream and certainly not known about. So I would say on that, do not give up hope because there's plenty more to try. The standing desk at work, it sounds like a really great idea, especially if you're talking about being at your desk for 12 hours a day. Whew, I mean, that's a lot. As you know, our bodies are designed for movement, and whenever you're keeping them in a static posture, whether it be standing or sitting for 12 hours, you really are limiting the healing possibilities of your spine. You need blood flow. You need compressional forces. You need a shift of where those forces are aligned. And you're not getting that, unfortunately. So I like the idea that you attempted a standing desk. Often I see people with standing desks, they stand, but there's no emphasis on the quality of their standing. And you may think, well, isn't standing standing? Well, it's a bit like isn't sitting sitting, isn't walking walking. We all have our own way of standing and we all have our own way of sitting. We have default postures and default ways of moving. And, potentially the way you're standing is not helping you. You may have too much weight on one side of your foot. You may have, which will be creating a pelvic posture that's loading your loaded disc zone. So there's so much you can learn about how to take the stress out of the injured area by tweaking pelvic positions or weight shift in feet. And if you can master some of those micro movements, and when you get feedback from your spine that things are building, you react in real time to diffuse the buildup of tension. That's a really empowered way to start providing your body with reductions in the stresses that may just be the thing that keeps perpetuating the pain cycle. I would also say, 12 hours a day is a lot, and it needs balancing with some sort of movement. Ideally, swimming comes to mind because if you're sitting, the antidote to compression is distraction, and being in any water-based environment encourages the spine to soften, lengthen, and those disc spaces to separate. Inversion tables, walking, there's so many things that could complement and offset that 12-hour day. And as for the drinking, yeah, I love your honesty. I appreciate it. You're certainly not alone. And I would say it's part of my mission personally is, I see back pain as the precursor sometimes, particularly chronic stubborn back pain that does not go away. I actually don't know how you survive it without accessing the drugs and the alcohol. So as long as you recognize they are short-term strategies to help you cope, but they can't be the answer long-term. They're not going to help you shift through and heal, but don't beat yourself up and add that to your guilt spiral and guilt cycle because that ain't going to help either. So, James, I would encourage you, if we sum all that up, allow yourself to grieve. So really identify what emotions are attached to that skiing accident. I reckon there'd be a lot. Seek some professional medical advice about whether you are surgical or non-surgical. If you are surgical, then you want to be really well informed about what's ahead, but it may be the answer for you. I am not anti-surgery. I am just anti-surgery if other things haven't been tried first. And so that's why I encourage you to get the information and park it, and then go and spend some time exploring these other suggestions. At which point, give yourself maybe 3 months. 3 months in the scheme of 7 years is not a long time. See if you can change and learn some of these micro movements that will help you decompress your spine whilst at work. Add some swimming, do the emotional exploration. And at the end of that time frame, if things really aren't improving and you have had good advice that the surgery is going to be useful, then I certainly would then shift your headspace into, all right, I've chosen to have this surgery. How do I line up with it? How do I create a really strong, happy environment for my body to heal? If I'm going to have surgery and go back to 12 hours at work in one static posture, I can tell you right now, I think your prognosis will be low. You cannot put a spine that's had troubles into a loaded position and a static position for 12 hours a day. Even spines that have had no prior trauma struggle with that. So I think it's unrealistic to go back to that, thinking that that's going to be an easy transition. I hope some of that helps. I really do thank you for reaching out, and yeah, keep listening to the podcast. Hopefully, there's that nugget that resonates with you. And yeah, I do have the coursework that would really help you. The signature 6-week course program would have those movements in it, and I discuss all that within the course. That would really help. And beyond that, I am available for private one-on-one coaching for clients that are really feeling they've exhausted all possibilities and just need that one-on-one coaching. Details will be below. And yeah, till the next question, happy bulletproof back building.